coming over here. This is a Ford. These are exciting names too. I don't know who invented the cool names for these, but this is a 4-jaw chuck. Okay, how can you tell it's a 4-jaw chuck, Jeremy?
Little jaws.
Don't say because I told you. Don't say because I count. Okay, so you can tell it's a 4-jaw chuck because it has 4 jaws on it. Now, one of the rules is that you never touch anything that's turning, right? What did I just not do too? I didn't just double check and make sure we had some safe people in here. Go like this, everybody. What am I looking for? John, even though you're just monitoring what's going on, get your ring off, please. Okay, the next thing that you need to do is make sure that you have your sleeves up past your elbows. Anybody else? Okay, good. All right. The worst accident, I'll tell you this right now, that we've had on a machine was I had a student that still had his wedding ring on. He was using a 3-jaw chuck, which we'll look at over here in just a second. He turned it off, the machine off. It was coasting like this. I don't know why he put his hand up here, but it caught his ring right here and cut it all the way, his finger all the way around. I had to take my little sharp pointy nail thing and push the skin underneath the ring and pull his ring off. Okay. We've had some other kind of nasty accidents in here as well, but that's one of the worst ones. All right. So 4-jaw chuck. What is a 4-jaw chuck good for? Well, it's good for only square things or something that has to be put in and centered perfectly well. Okay? And we're not going to be doing anything that needs to be centered perfectly. I just wanted to show you this. Most of what we use it for is put a square piece in and get it so that the square is actually in the center of the spindle by moving these jaws, and they move independently of each other. So you can move one clear out here, you move one clear in, and you can actually put this part, if you wanted it so that it wasn't in the center of the spindle, off the center of the spindle if you wanted to cut a lobe on it or something like that. And we have cut some cams that way, but trust me, it's not fun. All right. Each one of these machines is a little bit distinct from the others. This one has a long nose spindle taper. Now the spindle taper is back behind the chuck, and I'm going to put this at the slowest RPM. I just turned the brake on, and to get this to, it's actually got a hydraulic shift in there that moves the gears, and to get it to shift you actually have to turn it off, and then it quits making that noise that sounded so fun. And that's just the hydraulic pump pumping and moving the gears back and forth. All of the lathes in here have gear driven heads, and so the spindle has to be off to change the spindle speeds. One of the things we wanted to look at was what the spindle speed for this one, for the one over here, for this one, and that one all are. But before we do that, since I'm talking about the chuck, I'm going to take this chuck off, and Russell, will you go get the collet chuck for this? It's in black ring sitting up about this high by the collets, I think. Okay, this one, you use this big wrench. Does anybody know what this type of wrench is called? Anybody ever seen this type of wrench before? It's very good, Jeremy. It's a spanner wrench. Yeah. And just put it on this way to loosen it. It should have a lock, so it should go a little ways, then tighten up again. And you won't be changing this very often, but if you have to, then I'm busy. You will know how. It's that one needs going. You can show them how to know. Turn the other end around, that's what you're looking at. This is a collet chuck as well, but it would go on this lathe and the lathe on the end. And you just have to know which lathe has what collet or what spindle bones on it. Okay? So if you're wanting to change a chuck and you don't have any idea, let me know. inside of these, when you take them off, they're always going to have chips in them. Okay? So before you put it on, you want to make sure that all the chips are out. If you have to, take something, just clean them all off. Take your hand and wipe them out. Your hand is actually better than using a rag, but you can get a rag to wipe your hand off with after if you'd like to. So you want to get that cleaned off. You want to make sure that the spindle nose is cleaned off as well. Some of them, this one has a big long taper. You can see how long that is. That fits in this taper right here, which centers it. There's a key in this, well, a key way in this and a key right here on this, so you need to make sure they line up. Change the chuck, make sure that you take it all the way off and put it all the way on before you do something else. Okay? Can you see a problem if I hadn't tightened this up?
Chuck would go flying.
Yeah.
Broken a rib or two, maybe.
I actually saw that happen one time when I was working.
Yeah, when you're hit.
No, they were pretty lucky. I can't remember what actually happened to the chuck. It was one exactly like this one too, and this rubber right here hit here and just bounced, and it took off across the floor. It's kind of like a bowling ball in a shop with a lot of people in it, kind of like here. So,
I have a question.
speak out loud.
How tight is too tight?
On this?
Yes.
Oh, just 2 taps is good.
Okay.
Don't need to pressurize it.
We don't have a torque wrench for that, so yeah, just good and snug on everything in here. Okay, Lilo, will you grab me one of those collets? Did I tell you these are collets before? Okay, this is a 5C collet. 5C is this shape right here, and all of the chucks that, well, no, they don't all. Sorry. Most of the chucks that we have on these lathes have 5C collets. The one on the very end down there is the only exception. It has a rubber collet. It's called a rubber flex collet. But the way that this chuck works, if I can get that started, is it actually has a little ring in there that's threaded, and it just pulls this in. This is the best work holding tool that there is for small diameter pieces like what we're going to be working on. Okay? So, collet chuck, what type of collet chuck is it again?
5C.
5C. We have 2Js that we probably won't even talk about, and R8 collets that we will be talking about a lot. The R8 collets go in the spindle of the mill. Okay? So that's changing the chuck and what a collet is. This is the headstock. We talked about headstock last time. What did I tell you about the headstock last Tuesday?
We were talking about how long the bar stock we were using.
Okay, that 3/4 inch bar stock should only be a little bit shorter than this length right here, so that it's all contained inside the head. If it's out here flopping around, a couple things could happen. You could get caught on it. And worst case scenario, if it's out here too far and you turn it on, it's going to start flapping around back there, and it's actually going to bend flush with the back of the leg, and then it's going to come around and start smacking everybody. Even if you're clear over there, well, it depends on how long it was in the sun. Okay, so headstock, chuck, collet. This is called the tailstock. This is actually called a drill chuck. You've probably seen something like that before somewhere. We'll be using those as well over on the mill. This is called the quick change tool post, compound rest, cross slide, the apron, this apron, whole apron thing is called the saddle, and this is an engine leg. Right, there's one. Because it's an engine leg. Well, There's what else is there? There's screw machines. There's CNC lathes. It's just this type of lathe. Okay. Let's go compare it to the CNC lathe over here for those of you who will be